Aspen, do you have a second? I have something I really need to talk with you about.
Oh, hi, Lily. What are you wanting to talk about at 8 p.m.?
Can you let me come stay the night tonight?
What?
I was kicked out of my boyfriend's house just a second ago.
What? Wasn't he the man you were getting ready to marry, though?
Yeah, that's the one.
You were going on and on about how you'd never let him get away from you, though, because he has all that money. Yet now you've been kicked out of his house? What happened there?
To tell you the truth, I got pregnant on accident.
You're pregnant? So then what got you kicked out of his place was...
That's right. It's not his baby that I'm pregnant with.
What the hell do you think you're doing, Lily? I know that in the past you were a bit of a wild card when it came to men, but you're still up to that crap?
Hey, come on now. It's too late for us to be talking about all of that.
No, it's not, Lily. What you've done is going to affect you for the rest of your life now.
All right. Shut up now and let me come over. Having to be pregnant and walking around in the streets at night is tough for me.
Well, just get your butt over here. Can I start to tell Mom and Dad about all of this so that we can figure out what we're going to do with you?
What? You plan to tell them both about this?
Well, of course I do. They both need to know. And we're going to have to hear about who the real father of that child you're carrying is, too.
It's all such a pain in the ass, though.
You're the one that asked for it all.
Well, right now I'm heading over to your place. I should be there soon, so have the door open for me.
Jeez, oh Pete's. Just be careful on your way over here.
Aspen, you can do this on your way home, but could you buy me some snacks, please?
You want me to buy you some snacks?
All of the snacks you had in the cupboard here? Well, I went and ate them all already.
You went and ate all of that which was in there?
Some of the symptoms that I've been getting make me feel really hungry all the time and give me an appetite for sweet and salty things.
I get that some women have that when they're pregnant. Last night you were also going through the fridge eating random things in there, right? If you start eating too much, it's not going to be good for your health.
Just shut up and bring me more snacks.
Not happening. I have heard from a lot of people, including medical professionals, that gaining a lot of weight while pregnant is not a good thing. So could you please think about that a bit more while avoiding all that food?
What? You're so stingy.
By the way, Lily, how long do you plan on staying at my house?
What?
I've been asking you over and over again about who the father of that baby is, but you just keep beating around the bush about it and dodging all my questions. Mom and Dad told you already that if you're not going to talk to me about what happened, they want you to get out of my house and go back to their place, right? They told me that they have your old room all cleaned up and ready for you, so you need to go back there before your belly gets too big and it's hard for you to move around.
I'm not going back to the countryside.
Listen, Lily, this isn't just my house that you're living in right now, but also my husband Roland's house. I already feel bad enough that he has to hear about all the drama you've created in the family now getting pregnant like that. But neither of us want you sitting around in this house when you're the one that caused all of this drama.
Then how about you get out of the house?
Excuse me?
Here's the thing. Actually, the father of this baby inside me will probably be coming around to talk with you about it. There was just a few things that had to be done first, and that's why I never said anything to you about him.
Things that had to be done?
I'll go into a lot more detail about all of this later with my baby's father.
Well, if you're finally going to open up and talk, that's all that really matters.
Now, make sure to bring me those snacks home.
Not happening. Lily, can we talk for a minute?
What is it?
I'm at the front of the house right now, but, my key isn't able to turn the lock to open the door. I wonder if the lock is broken or something? Lily, you're inside the house right now, correct? I'm sorry to have to ask you to get up, but could you please come and open the door for me?
Ah, nope, I can't open that door.
Excuse me?
Because we went and had the lock changed for a new one. Which is why your key no longer works on the front door.
What are you going on about right now?
I'm not going to let you into this house right now. I can't, that's all.
Lily, are you upset with me because I said I wouldn't be stopping to get you any snacks on the way home from work?
Ah, I actually don't really care about that anymore. I went out and got some snacks of my own.
Then what the hell is this about? Why are you not coming to let me into my own house? This house is both Roland's and mine, and we have been living here together ever since we got married. And to be frank, there is no reason you should be kicking me out of my own house right now when all you do is lay around.
I see. You just think that I'm laying around here.
Lily, if you don't stop acting out like that right now, I am actually going to get pissed off, all right?
The one that should stop acting like a total idiot is you, actually.
Excuse me?
Because the one that actually went and changed the lock to this house was Roland himself.
Wait, Roland did this?
Today, Roland left work earlier than usual after using some of his PTO to be here. He wanted to be back here before you so that he could prepare to have you kicked out of the house for good.
I'm being kicked out of my own house then?
We made sure to send all your things that were here to your mom and dad's house for you. And the moving services will charge you once they have everything moved into their house, so please make sure to pay them.
What the hell are you saying right now? I literally have no clue what this is all about, Lily.
You still aren't catching on to what I've been hinting at? You should have been wondering why I've been here laying around your house all this time instead of going back to mom and dad's place. Right?
What?
Come on already. You're such a dumbass that I can't get anywhere with you anymore. So I'll just go ahead and tell you what's happened.
Tell me what's happened.
This baby that I've been pregnant with for a bit now's father is your husband, Roland.
What? Hold it right there. Why would you say that Roland is the father? Why the hell would he be the father?
You're so shocked, aren't you? This is getting so entertaining for me now.
Not a single thing about what you're doing and saying is entertaining for me, though.
Since I'm sure that you won't trust what I'm saying about your own husband being the father of my baby right now, allow me to send you a picture to prove things first.
What is this?
This is Roland and I on the couch after he came and brought me a bouquet to celebrate 1 year of being together with one another.
1 year? So what you're saying is that you've been going out with Roland around the same time he and I got married to one another?
That's exactly right. So with all of that in mind now, I'm going to be the one giving birth to the person who will take over Roland's company after he retires, so you don't have to bother with him anymore.
What? Roland's company?
From today onwards, he and I will be treating this house as our earthly paradise, and there is nothing you can do to stop us. Actually, you just being around the house right now is a bother to me, so could you please get lost now? The divorce papers are out in the mailbox for you, so make sure to grab them before you head back to mom and dad's house.
So you guys even went ahead and prepared the divorce papers?
Of course we did.
There's even a letter in here from Roland for me.
He wrote about how he wants you to divorce him, right? As for myself, I would like to make Roland my husband before I end up giving birth to our baby. So could you please make sure to take those papers to the courthouse as soon as possible for me?
I see. All right then. I'm going to take the papers there and drop them off right now.
What? Seriously?
In about 30 minutes or so, Roland will be going back to being a single man again.
Hooray!
This means that Roland can also be fired now as well, right?
What? What exactly do you mean by that? How come you said he could be fired now?
Goodbye.
Aspen? Aspen! Hey, what's going on here?
Okay, what is it? Tell me what the hell Roland being fired from his job is all about. How could the CEO be fired from his own company like that? Huh? You thought that Roland was the CEO of the company? Where did you end up hearing about that from? That company is his father's company, right? And there is no way that he could be fired from his own company when he's the one that runs it all as the CEO now. What are you actually going on about right now? Roland's father was only ever a basic office worker. Huh? Ah, so that's why you were saying something about me not having to worry about who would be taking over the company next, right? What? But Roland said that he's the CEO and was made so after his father stepped down and retired. What? Ah, so he still has the wrong idea then. The wrong idea? I explained things to him so many times, over and over again, yet he still didn't understand a thing. What are you talking about, Aspen? This company that Roland has been working for, right? Well, it just so happens to be the company our cousin Robert owns right now. Wait, Robert? Robert's been running a company of his own for a while now? Hold on, you never heard anything about this from anyone? I never heard anything at all before about that. This is my first time hearing about it. I think he actually started the company around 7 years ago or so. Then why would something like that lead to Roland thinking that he would become the CEO of the company soon? I'm not really sure where the best place to start explaining all of this to you would be. Let's start here. Around half a year before Roland and I got married to one another, his company he'd been working at before ended up having some major layoffs. And after that happened to him, he was having a really difficult time finding himself a new job. And so I went and spoke with Robert about giving him a job in his company. So he was really only able to start working for Robert because of the connections I made for him. Well, since that day he first started to work for Robert, a lot has happened with Roland. He got this idea in his head that Robert would be single for the rest of his life and never have anyone to give his company to after he left. And so Roland thinks that he'll be the next one in line, even though that's far from the truth. Huh? I've really been trying to comprehend whatever Roland has been thinking that's led him to that conclusion. Roland does have a little sister, right, but she's not even working in the same field as him. And since Robert doesn't ever want to get married, Roland thinks that he's never going to have kids, which is true to the best of my knowledge. And that leaves you and I as Robert's only cousins, right? In other words, the only ones who could really be in line next to take over his company would be me. And that crazy man who thinks he's going to be the CEO, even though Robert has never even said anything to him yet about it at all. I'm having a hard time understanding all of this. The reason why Roland has been fired from his last job wasn't even due to the layoffs anyway. He was fired because he couldn't do his job correctly. What? There is no way Robert would ever let Roland, a completely useless man, take over his company after him. What the hell? Well, now that you're aware of all that, and now that I've had to divorce Roland over you and him making a baby together and stealing my house from me, there is no reason for Robert to keep him in his company anymore. It's not like he was a full-time worker for the company anyway. He was only working close to 15 hours a week. So he was part-timing? If he had actually taken his work there seriously, then one day he would have been made into a full-time company employee. No way. I thought that he was a way better option than my ex-boyfriend and would have a lot more money for me. Huh? So that's your reason for going and stealing my husband from me? That's right. Had I known the truth, had I been told the truth about Roland, I would have never even bothered with him. That's it. I just have to go and talk with Robert myself and convince him to hire Roland back into his company. Like you, I am also Robert's cousin, and that means that he would be happy to listen to all the things I have to say about why I took Roland from you and everything, right? Wait, you really think that's going to happen? Why do you say that? Do you want to know why Robert is most likely never going to be with anyone ever again? 10 years ago, when he was just getting ready to marry his fiancée, he found out that she'd been cheating on him with his friend, who went and stabbed him in the back and took her. Having to listen to someone like you now who's doing something very similar to what his friend did, I don't think you're going to be able to get a word off in front of him before he tells you to screw off, right?
No way.
Well, now that I'm divorced from Roland, I have nothing to do with you both anymore. I'm cutting ties to you now as well, so you both actually screw off now and go figure all your troubles out yourself, please.
Oh, wait a second.
There's one last thing. That house you're living in, I just finished having the lease on it canceled.
What? But isn't this the place under Roland's name?
At the very beginning it was. But after he was fired from his job and no longer making the money to be able to afford rent, I stepped in and paid it for him, while also putting my name down on the place as the sole tenant. And ever since then, I've been the only one paying the rent for it. Seems that even Roland himself forgot such an important thing happened, huh?
What the actual hell is going on here?
Now, I happen to still have a job to get to. I'm going to turn off my phone now.
Wait a second, Aspen! Early this morning, I went to the courthouse and handed the marriage papers. But I don't need a lousy husband like Roland anymore. I'll give him back to you now, so you do something about all of this. Aspen, please!
While I was ignoring all of my sister's cries for help, a lot of things happened between her and Roland. First, Roland and Lily tried to stay inside the house I ended the lease on, and would squat there for about 2 or so weeks before the owner of the property came and kicked them out. Of course, things weren't that easy for the owner, though, and so he had to call the police out to help him remove the two because neither one of them would leave the bathroom they locked themselves inside of. But after a few conversations with a kind officer about how them not getting out that day would only make matters worse, they opened the door, gathered everything, and left. Then Roland made the choice to have them both move all the way back to his folks' place, where they'd be staying for the time being. Lily really wanted to get a divorce from him so badly, but neither Roland or his parents would allow such a thing to happen. This led to Lily trying to contact me over and over again, asking for me to come and save her, but this time I'd had enough and ended up blocking her number. Not only was she locked in by the fact that she was still carrying his baby inside her, but she was now stuck inside his parents' house with no way out. The only issue with Lily, though, was that she could not do chores to save her life. The day after Lily had finally given birth to the baby, her mother-in-law took it from her and then started to talk with me again about how much she hated Lily and wanted her gone. But of course, I don't care about Lily, but what I would be taking was both Lily's and Roland's money in a divorce. As of right now, neither one of them ever has time to be around their baby, as they both have to work from sunrise to sunset every day, making the money they need to pay off the settlements, as well as try to move out of Roland's parents' house. I'm sure that's a very tough life for the both of them, but all they have to do is work their hardest for the time being.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Zora, you get your butt over here and do the chores at once. This will be 1 week of you not listening to a single word I've been saying to you. Do you have any idea what that means for you? That means you are going to have to come here and clean up 1 week's worth of garbage. That means you're going to have to come and clean up 1 week's worth of laundry. That means you're going to have to come here and buy 1 week's worth of groceries to fill this empty fridge with. It has been 1 week now since you cleaned the house, so now everything is covered in a layer of dust. And it has been 1 week since you cleaned out the inside of my bathtub, which has led to there being a thin layer of grime forming in there that is completely disgusting. You seriously need to get a grip, woman. Now come on, hurry up and get that tiny little butt of yours over here and do the chores. I want the chores done now. Now, 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 now. Jace, can we talk right now? There is something I'd like to ask you about, actually. Something very important that I thought was already handled.
Hey, Zora. Today is my day off, so I can talk with you all day if you'd like. Now tell me, what did you want to ask?
You talked with your mom about how I want to go back to her house during my last 3 months of pregnancy before I have to give birth, right?
Of course I spoke to her about that. When you first went over to their house about a week ago, I spoke with my mom about it, and she understood everything I was saying. At first, she was totally against having you go over to her place, but when I spoke with her about how I'd have to leave to Australia for a while based off a work transfer I got, she said it should be fine letting you come. So, all in all, she did come around to saying yes and making it at least sound like she understood what you wanted to do.
I see. Well, for some reason, it doesn't seem at all like she understood what you and I meant.
What? What do you mean by that?
I'll send you a screenshot of all the things your mom was saying to me today by text, and I think that'll give you a hint as to what I mean by her not understanding.
Sure. What was she going on about? You were only gone for 2 hours, and my mom was drilling into you about how you needed to come back to her house and do all those chores for her.
Ever since you and I got married, this has happened from time to time, but I had thought that me being pregnant now would get me a pass, and I wouldn't have to worry about all those things anymore. I don't think she cares about the fact that I need to rest and care for this baby.
When I spoke to her, though, she told me she understood and was fine with you going to her place. Later, I'll give her a call and explain to her in more detail what I meant by that.
All right, please do that for me.
And if she continues to act like that towards you, you don't have to bother with listening to her. Honestly, you can go ahead and just block her if you really want to.
No, I'm not going to block your mom's phone number, Jace.
Are you sure about that, though?
This is something my mom told me before, and that's that it's best to make sure both sides are completely calm before making any moves so that things are understandable for both people.
I see. So basically, there is no point in shutting her out by blocking her until she's calmed down and we understand one another.
That's right. If I were to block her right now while she's still upset, I would only be making things worse for the both of us.
Well, it's not like my mom knows anything about where your family lives. So even if you did block her, there'd be no way for her to find you if you moved back to their house.
But we should be a bit more cautious before making such a big move as that.
Understood. But really, I'm sorry that my mom is always doing things like this. I never, and I mean never, thought that this would happen again. The moment I left for Australia, it seems my mom took that as the perfect time to start bullying you again. And right after I explained to her that you just wanted to relax at her place before having our baby.
Jace.
However, due to this, I've remembered something. I've told you before about how I have an older brother who's 5 years older than me, right?
Oh, right. You told me about him once. You said that while you were in college, he went and got married and moved into a place close to your parents' house, right? However, after just 6 months, his wife and him both moved away without telling anyone in your family and has pretty much cut ties to all of you ever since.
That's right. Him and I are still talking every so often, actually, but he won't ever tell me where he and his wife moved away to. Really, we just talk whenever he wants something from me. And every single time we talk, he makes sure to tell me not to tell my mom and not to give her his contact information. That's how badly he wants to stay away from her, I guess.
Hey, don't tell me...
You know what this means. I only just started to think about this a bit more. But my mom must have really harassed the heck out of my brother's wife.
Don't you think it'd be a good idea to ask your brother about that? I'm sure if you explained to him what's been happening with me, he'd want to open up a bit.
Hey, that's a great idea. I'll ask and see. Now, I should be getting back to the States when it comes time for you to have the baby, but until then, do not be afraid to call me if you have anything you need from me. The time zone difference kinda sucks, but I'll make sure to always keep my phone by me for you.
Thank you. Will do.
Zora, you went and tattled on me to Jace, didn't you? I want to know what all you told him about me. Because he was beyond upset with me when he called. He told me to stop making a pregnant woman do all my chores and that I needed to be the one taking care of you. But I know what this is all about. You are just using your pregnancy as an excuse to not come to my house anymore to clean. I don't mind you staying at my house and relaxing, but that does not mean you can slack off from doing the chores here. If you understand that, you will be working all day from sunrise to sunset starting tomorrow. I'm going to make sure you make up for that whole week of not doing any of the chores here by forcing you to do them all in one day. Come here at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Jace, your mom is doing exactly what we predicted.
What?
Can I send you some more screenshots of the text she sent me? I can tell you what she told me, but I think it would be far more easy to understand if you just looked at these for me.
Sounds good. Please send them all to me. Thanks for those screenshots of everything. So it seems that me warning her about what she'd been doing didn't make things any better? And actually just caused her to start throwing a fit about it.
That's what it looks like. I don't think you warning her is going to be of any use to us from here on out.
I went and chatted with my brother about what happened with him and his wife, and he told me exactly what we thought. The reason those two left is because my mom would harass his wife. And I'm sure the reason why my dad divorced her a year ago had to do with the way she was behaving as well. At least that's what my brother was saying to me about my mom. My brother told me the reason he never said anything to me before about all of this is because he thought things would change after he ran away from my mom. And the reason he would always ask things from me about how my life was going was to check up on me and make sure nothing had gotten worse.
I see.
Yet my mom is doing the exact same thing she did to my brother's wife, to you now. And it doesn't seem like she's going to listen to anything. Anyway, we cannot let her behavior towards you carry on all the way up to when you have our babies, so we have to do something. My mom doesn't know anything about your parents' house, right?
I don't think so.
But who's to say she won't be able to find out?
I'm sorry this has you all worked up while you're on your business trip.
Don't be. She's my mom, so I should be sorry for all the crap she's causing you now.
I have talked with both of my parents about your mom, and they said they can help me deal with her if need be. So, do you think you can start to think of what to do after I have our babies?
So, about what to do once you've had our babies?
Of course, I'll be thinking about all of that as well. I'll take a look online and see what others have to say about things like this.
Good idea. If we don't think about what to do after you have the twins, then there's no telling what my mom might do to get to them, and to take even more advantage of you by harassing you. Honestly, I can only see one outcome to all of this. Maybe it's best that we leave some of this stuff in the hands of your parents, since they are there in the States with you and can give you the best support. When the time comes, though, where I want to pull the plug on her, I'll let you know.
Understood. Tell me whenever you want to and are ready.
Mom, I have something to tell you. Very late last night, Zora gave birth to 2 cute twins. She didn't have any complications, and we now have 2 little boys.
Is that right? Congratulations, Jace.
Now listen, Mom. Please do not do anything to make the situation any worse between Zora and you now, since she just gave birth and is very tired.
All right. I suppose I'll be going now. Oh, thanks for the good news.
I heard the news. You gave birth to both of your babies without there being any complications. However, what does it matter that you had both of those babies in the middle of the night? You don't have to carry the both of them around now, so you can come here and cook for me, clean for me, and do the laundry for me right now. I will not allow you to slack off any longer. Now you get back to my house right now, and don't you dare waste even a second more.
Linda, you've given birth to a baby before, right?
Excuse me? Well, I was shocked to finally see you replying to me for once, and that's the kind of rude question you're going to ask me?
So does this mean you don't understand anything about what happens immediately after giving birth? Because in most people's cases, you have to stay at the hospital for a while afterwards, and for about a day, you don't have the energy to do anything besides lay in bed.
I am tired of listening to your stupid arguments. Get your ass over here right now.
Is that what you really want? Understood. Jace, I just got a couple of texts from your mom.
And how did things end up going?
I'm really sorry to have to say this, but it's no use anymore. She not only knows about how I had to stay up all night giving birth, but that I had to give birth to 2 babies at the same time. Yet the only thing she had to tell me was that I couldn't slack off from doing her chores, and that I had to go over to her house right now. She even told me not to waste a second more.
Is that so? I guess this is it then. You can leave the rest of this to me.
Excuse me, Zora. I just heard the doorbell ring and I thought that it was you finally showing up to do all these chores. What the hell is going on right now?
So this means your son has finally arrived at your house then? He also brought along some of your family, as well as some of my family, which means there should be 15 people in total there right now to see you.
I never said that I wanted Jace coming over here. I said that I wanted you. You. Now I have 15 people in my house right now, all doing the chores for me, and that's not what I asked for.
You told me that your place hasn't been touched in forever and needed to be cleaned up badly, right? So I thought that instead of having me, a smaller woman who just gave birth to twins and is all beaten up now, come to your place, it would be better to have 15 healthy people come over and do all that work for you.
But can you even imagine what things are like right now?
I'm sorry, but I'm starting to feel a bit sick again, so I'm going.
Zora! I am asking you to please do something about all this. At least get all of your family out of my place. I've even been trying to get Jace to do something about all of this, but he won't answer me. Besides, with a massive grin on his face as he vacuums the floors. Jace, what the hell have you been doing? I thought all of you guys had come to my house to clean it all up for me, but really, you all were working to prepare my house for me to move out?
Have you gotten off the plane now and arrived at your new home?
I thought that you said you were moving me closer to your brother. But now I'm out at this tiny house in the middle of nowhere with nothing around me.
Well, at least you can be away from all of us now, and we'll find it hard to trouble anyone out there.
Huh? I'll find it hard to trouble anyone out here?
Mom, do you still have no idea why you've been forced into such a sad situation as that?
What are you trying to say that I've done?
So you really have no idea then, huh? Well, let me give you the answer then. You've been harassing my wife.
Huh?
You did it once before with Jake's wife as well, right? And when his wife told him about how you'd been bullying her so much, he moved away from his house near you and never spoke to you again, right? He was really hoping something like that would have opened your eyes and that you would have learned your lesson. But nothing changed, and this time you chose to start harassing my wife. Oh, and she'd been carrying our twins.
Hold on a minute. What are you going on about right now? It is the job of the husband's wife to listen to whatever his mother asks of her, no matter what, right? As a way of teaching her how to become a good wife for you, I was asking that she do all of my chores here and learn from them. Don't you dare start calling that something as barbaric as me harassing her.
Is that right? Since it doesn't seem like you're ever going to take responsibility for what you've done and change your ways, I really don't have any other choice. I'm taking a page out of Jake's book here, and I'm going to leave you now.
What?
Right after I got back from Australia, I had a word with my boss and asked that I transfer to another office out of state. And so we've moved.
What? You also moved out of your old place?
Yeah. And along with the move, I'll be changing my last name to that of Zora's. And that will set me cutting ties to you in stone, I think.
Jace!
Goodbye forever.
Jace? Jace! It was a major shock to Jace that he had to live with his actual mother being the type of person who thought it was totally okay to harass her son's wives like that. But after being transferred to a new office and the four of us moving into a new home, where he could spend time with his newborn babies, he began to realize that it didn't matter anymore what kind of a monster she was. He's now feeling a whole lot better and will go out with my dad sometimes to go golfing. And will help my mom go do grocery shopping when he has the chance, creating a wonderful atmosphere within my family. Just a few days ago, I was even able to meet my brother-in-law and his wife for some dinner and drinks. Jace's brother was even kind enough to tell us where him and his wife are living now after the dinner we had. And it turns out they're both really close to our place and my parents' house. Which pretty much means, from here on out, we'll all be seeing each other a whole lot more and rekindling the bond between two brothers. Now, let's talk about what happened with Linda herself after Jace cut ties to her. She was flown out to the middle of nowhere in the Rocky Mountains, where she's now set up in a small cabin close to a very small town with not very many people living in it at all. The only way for her to get out of that town is by plane from the local airport or by car, taking around 8 hours in all directions. Both Jace and I thought that the town would be a great place for her, considering most of the people in the town were close to her age. But it turned out not a lot of them liked her toxic and childish behavior, and so she was shunned by a lot of them and will end up living the rest of her life all by herself, with no one coming to help with her chores. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.